Yan lang, short.
Hindi ko marunong. Kasi wala na akong sorto sa karaming host. Sino ako?
Ikaw na kumanta.
Kadamada ba? Hindi ka na marunong short na marunong 5 minutes. Kasi wala ba akong sorto sa karaming host.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Pujavira Radha Madhava Jaya Pujavira Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Jaya
A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, S. Committee Founder Sri Srila Prabhupada, Radha Madhava, Sri Thai, Sri Panchatattva, Thai, Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to Shri Guru and the whole Rani. Can we chant the Prana Mantra together? Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Murtale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Vasatyadi Satarine Chanchakalpata Bhujascha Kripa Sindhuve Vacha Patitanam Padevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna everyone.
Hare Krishna.
So welcome to our Sunday Love Feast. So today's class will be a little bit different. So we're not going to be reading a verse from the Bhagavad Gita. So meron akong prepare na small presentation. But before I start, I just want to say that I'm so grateful to be back here in Radha Madhava Temple after 10 years of separation. So thank you so much for allowing me to stay here for some days and to do this service for my own purification. I must say, Prabhu, you should sit in front. I need your close darshan. So I must tell that giving classes is not really my area of expertise. I'm not so much exposed in giving classes like Kavi Prabhu. But I'm just taking this as part of my training and also for my own purification. So, and of course, no class can begin without glorifying the audience, the Vaishnavas, all of you. You know, between audience and the speaker, which one is more important? The audience. If the speaker cannot come, we can always find someone else to speak. But if you didn't show up, Sunday feast might be cancelled. So thank you for coming. Thank you for making the sacrifice to come today. I mean, you could have gone somewhere else, and yet you choose to be here with all of us. In my heart, you're very special. There's one devotee, he composed a very nice prayer, a self-composed prayer. Sabi niya, he says that just as the moon, Vijayaraj, never gives up Visupad, the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu in the form of the sky, during winning, saya, and waxing, vriddhi. So similarly, the Vaishnavas, the devotees, never gives up the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. See, the fact that you're still here, alive in your Krishna consciousness, in spite of all the challenges and difficulties and politics, you're still here. And thus all of you are most worshipable. Krishnadas, Das Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Adi Lila before he even glorifies the glories of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. First, he glorifies and worships all the Vaishnavas. Sabi niya, Bhakta Adi, Rami Kaila, Savara Bandan, Isavara Bandana Sarva, Subira Karan. Sabi niya, now I have worshipped all various of devotees, like different levels of devotees. And then he says, worshipping them is the source of good fortune. I love this verse because it reminds me of something. It reminds me that whatever we may achieve in our devotional career, it is only with the mercy of the devotees, like you guys, regardless of which level you are. Without the mercy of the devotees, trust me, we cannot achieve something great, something significant in our devotional career. On our own, we cannot achieve something meaningful, something great, and we cannot win our battle against Maya, the external energy of Krishna. And for that reason, I would like to seek all your blessings so that somehow I could be an instrument in spreading Mahaprabhu and Lord Chaitanya's mission. And with your blessing, Prabhuji, I hope that I can speak something meaningful, inspiring, and beneficial for all of us. So today I have prepared a very simple presentation. So I will speak few thoughts on this topic, the principles of judgmental reasoning. And I'll begin by sharing you a story that you already know. A story in the Mahabharata. As we all know, the story of the Mahabharata begins with a king named Shantanu. So one day, King Shantanu, he was walking in the forest near the river Ganga. And then he saw a beautiful woman came out of the water, who is none other than Ganga Devi. So when King Shantanu saw Mother Ganga, immediately he was mesmerized, and right on the spot, he proposed to her. Sabi niya, I am King Shantanu. I am the king of Hastinapur. Hasti means elephant, and Pura means city. So Hastinapur means the city of elephants. Ganyan kayaman yung Hastinapur. So sabi niya, I am the king of Hastinapur, and I have fallen madly in love with you, and I wish to marry you. So Mother Ganga replied, sabi niya, I will accept your proposal, my dear king, but only if you accept my two conditions. Number one, never ask who I am and where I came from. Number two, you will observe my actions, but you shall never intervene. And the moment you break these two promises, any of these conditions, I'm going to leave you. So King Shantanu was stunned when he heard this request. You know, between fear and desire, which one is more stronger? Desire. Napansin nyo minsan kahit alam natin ikakapahamak natin yung ginagawa natin, ginagawa pa rin natin. Because desire is much stronger. So King Shantanu, so inaccept na yung conditions ni Mother Ganga. So both of them, they went to the palace and they got married. And sometime later, Mother Ganga, she gave birth to a son. So when King Shantanu heard this, he was overjoyed. And then he rushed to her private room to greet her. However, he was confused when he saw Mother Ganga. She was carrying the baby to the river. And as soon as she arrived at the river, she dropped the baby into the water. and just let the baby wash away. So when King Santanu saw this, he was shocked. He was horrified. He wanted to shout, but he remembered his promise that he will only observe and never intervene. So Mother Ganga, she returned to the palace as if nothing happened. And then sometime later, again, Mother Ganga gave birth to a second son. Now this time, King Santanu had already forgotten the tragedy of the first son and was overjoyed. But again, as he went to her room, Mother Ganga, carrying the baby to the river, and as soon as she arrived at the river, boom, she placed the baby into the water and just let it be washed away by the current. But King Shantanu could not say or do anything due to his promise. Now this continued for 4 or 5 times over the years. And each time Mother Ganga gave birth to a son, she would carry that baby and then she just let it be washed away by the current. And then finally, an 8th son was born. Yeah. So Mother Ganga, she was carrying the baby. But this time, King Shantanu, he could no longer stand it. He shouted, sabi niya, stop! I won't let you do this again. And then si Mother Ganga, she looked at him and said, but you promised. King Shantanu said, I don't care. I have already watched 7 of my sons died. I won't let you kill this one. And then Mother Ganga smiled. Very well, my dear king. And then, as part of the agreement, she left. So, love at first sight, divorce at first sight. Huwag niyong gawin yun, ha? Imagine if you were King Santanu, how would you describe Mother Ganga's actions? Very cruel, right? Very evil. How would a mother would kill her own son? But as we all know, Mother Ganga has her story, why she did what she did. Before she left, she revealed to King Santanu her true identity, that she was the goddess river. And then she explained that the 8 sons were 8 vasus, 8 celestial beings. And they were caused by Vasistha Muni due to the offense, to take birth in the mortal world as human beings, due to the offense of stealing the cow, the wish-fulfilling cow, Kamadino. And then when they realized that they were cursed, they came to Vasistha Muni and they begged for forgiveness. And because they came for forgiveness, Vasistha Muni, he told them, okay, I will reduce the duration of the course. 7 of you will take birth as a human being in the mortal world, and after birth, immediately you can come back. But the 8th son, the leader of the band, the boss. So Vasistha Muni told him that you will live your entire life on behalf of the other 7. So what can we learn from this? What can we learn from Mother Ganga's actions? What I personally learned from this is that a person's action, a person's behavior is driven because of something hidden. You see, Mother Ganga's actions seems to be cruel, but she did that only to free them from the curse and to restore their celestial form as a celestial being in the heavenly planets. You see, everyone has their own story to tell why he or she behaves in a certain manner, why she acts in a certain way. But unfortunately, we are only concerned with our own version of the story without even knowing the background of that person, without even knowing the reason behind why he or she behaves in such a way. You know, there's one time I was invited by a friend of mine in Hong Kong, sa Pilipinas. Meron siyang boyfriend na Indian. She invited me to attend a Sunday Mass. First time in my life to attend a Sunday Mass. The church was just very close to the temple. And then during the Mass, the priest was reading a passage from the Bible. Hindi ko lang nabuksan, sorry. Ito ko lang. So ito yung verse sa Bible na binasa ng pare. Don't judge and you shall not be judged. Don't condemn and you shall not be condemned. Forgive and you shall be forgiven. You see, we all have our own conditionings. We have our bad habits and weaknesses. And in trying to overcome our bad habits, our conditionings and weaknesses, we are all helpless. In the Gita, Krishna says, Nahi kaschit sanamati jatutis tatiya karma krit karyati hi yavasaha karma sarvaha prakriti jair gunai. So sabi ni Krishna, everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he acquired from the moods of nature. You see, our actions, our behavior, our personalities are influenced by the moods of nature. And in trying to overcome the moods of nature, what did Krishna says? Daivihi isa gunamali mama maya durataya mam ebayi prapadyanti maya itam sarantiti. So sabi ni Krishna, mama maya, this divine energy of mind, gunamayi, consisting of the three modes of nature, Doratyaya, is very difficult to overcome. You see, through these teachings of the Gita, we can actually replace judgment into understanding. To understand that we're all helpless in trying to overcome the moods of nature, our conditioning, our actions, our behavior, we're all helpless. So there's really no point judging others, because the truth is we're all fighting with our own battle inside. Right? There's a very nice quote I want to share with all of you. Sabi, don't judge what people do until you know what they have been through. Napagano si Mother. She agreed. My dear devotees, judging others doesn't define who we are. It doesn't define who they are. It defines who we are. You see, if someone judges you, please remember, their judgment doesn't define who you are. It defines who they are. Chanakya Pandit says, you will know a person by the words that would come out to his mouth. Diba? Makikilala natin yung tao, we can measure someone's advancement and maturity in Krishna consciousness by how he responds or how he sees or responds to the situations. Makikilala natin yung, we can measure the level of whatever consciousness the person has depending on how he or she responds to the situations. Everyone, I would like to welcome all of you. Welcome to the age of Kali. It is described that the age of Kali is the age of judgment. And based on our judgment, we create a lot of troubles, a lot of problems, a lot of conflicts, relationship conflicts, even among ourselves. Right? It is so sad to see that nowadays, even in the name of spirituality, even in the name of loving God, there's so much hatred. We're so divided. We're so disconnected. Sometimes even as devotees, even though we've known each other for so long, even though we come to the temple together, we eat together, we chant together, we serve together, right now we're sitting so close to one another. Like physically we're so close, but internally we're so disconnected. I mean, I could be wrong, or I could be right. See, even in the name of religion, people become so critical and so judgmental to others. There's one ISKCON guru. He was invited to give a speech in a university. And as he was walking towards the campus, there were a group of Christians. And then I think the leader amongst them, he told his friends or followers, sabi niya, he says, you see that monk? He is going to hell. And then they were all laughing. And then this Maharaj told him, if I'm going to hell, where are you going? so sabi niya, I'm going to heaven. And then this Maharaj said, sabi niya, I would rather be in hell than to be with you in heaven. I would be happier to be in hell than to be with all of you in heaven. See? But you know what happened? After the class, they became best friends. Horrible. But anyway, the point here, you see, even in the name of religion, we become so critical and judgmental to others. Right? It is said that this tendency to judge others is very deeply rooted with this disease called fault finding. You see, this, the tendency of this world is to always look at the fault of others. And once we find some fault, and then we dwell on this fault in our mind, and then we magnify it, and then we share it. Right? You know, there's a difference between papa and aparad. Papa means sin, and aparad means offense. When you trouble someone physically or grossly, that's a sin. But when you trouble someone who is a Vaishnava, who's doing devotional service, and then that's aparad, offense. And the difference between the two is that a sin, which is only on the mental platform. Like for example, if a person is contemplating doing something wrong in the mind, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, that sin is forgiven. Till the time it doesn't come out in words and actions, that sin is not accounted, it is pardoned. However, when it comes to offense, when we are criticizing a devotee, for every mental offense gives a reaction. And one of the greatest reactions, if we commit mental offense, is that it will take away our enthusiasm, our inspiration to serve and practice Krishna consciousness seriously. Right? Therefore it is said, sabi, if one commits an offense, one is off the fence, no protections. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that one of the greatest impediment of bhakti is Vaishnava aparad, offense. Yeah. Therefore, it is very important that we have to avoid mental offenses, because everything starts from here. So if we can avoid mental offenses, then all the verbal offenses or in physical offenses or any offenses are gone. And thus, Eskon is a very interesting word. In the beginning there is S. In the middle there is KC. In the end there is on. Is KC on? Is Krishna consciousness on? If Krishna consciousness is off, there will be offense. If Krishna consciousness is on, no offense. That's why the pure devotees, the great souls, because their Krishna consciousness is always on, there's no question of offense. In the Gita, Krishna says, Mahatmanas tumam partha, daibin prakritim asita, bhajantyananya manaso, gyatva bhutadim avyayam. So sabi ni Krishna, the great souls, the devotees, daibin prakritim asitam, are under the protections of my divine energy, because their mind, manasa, are fully absorbed in bhajan, in devotional service, 24 hours a day, no gossip, no prajalpa, no Facebook. Srila Prabhupada said, distribute my book, not Facebook. So today, this is a very nice analogy I want to share with all of you. For those of you who have cars, pay attention to this. Oh, sorry.
Oh, nasulat ko pala to.
Yeah. This is a very nice analogy. Sabi, when we're performing devotional service, it's like we're driving a car with 4 wheels. And our enthusiasm, our inspiration are like the air in the tire. As long as the air is there, as long as our enthusiasm, our inspirations are there, our vehicles of devotional service will move forward. Right? But wrong attitude, wrong dealings, wrong mentality, it's like the leak in the tires. When there's a leak in the tires, the air will come out. And when the air comes out, when our enthusiasm comes out, our inspiration comes out, then our vehicles of devotional service will not move forward. Have you seen it in a movie? Sometimes the wheel of the car are spinning, but the car is not moving. Sometimes we may be chanting for many years. We're doing Siva in the temple for many years. We're reading the Shastra for many years. But we may not be moving. We may not be, we're stuck. Does anyone have that experience? That you've been chanting for many years, you've been doing service for many years, you've been honoring Prasad for many years, but it feels like you're stuck somewhere. You're not moving forward. Does anyone have that experience? Or is it just me? All of us. Tama pala. I thought I was wrong. So today, I'm going to share with you some 5 ways that we can apply in our lives that would help us to overcome this tendency of fault finding. And if you remember the word fault, then you will know what are the steps to be taken to avoid fault finding.
No, hindi ba to? Oh, ay, hindi. Sorry ha, kasi hindi kasi gumana yung computer ko. Hindi siya mga step by step. Okay lang.
Hindi siya mga step by step. So, anyway, so the first step, which is the F in the word fault, stands for focusing on the good of others. There's one lecture of Srila Prabhupada, and in this lecture, Srila Prabhupada talks about the 5 levels of people.
Sorry, hindi kasi maano. Bakit ganito? Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Oo nga, pero dapat kasi ganito. Anyway, ito na lang. Hindi siya maset by the enemy.
So the level 1, sabi ni Prabhupada said, is a person who only sees the bad in others. He just can't see the good. You know, sometimes among devotees, no matter how much a devotee does so many good things, we just can't see the good. Simply because we don't like that person. But if someone loves that person, then even an apparent fault is neglected. But if someone doesn't like that person, then all the good is neglected and only the bad is seen. Therefore, level 1, Srila Prabhupada said, is a person who only sees the bad in others. Level 2 is a person who sees both good and bad, but consciously chooses to neglect the good and focus on the bad. In the first case, good is not seen at all. But in the second case, the good is seen, but is neglected. You may heard of this story. Once there was a king, and this king has 10 wild dogs. And he used these 10 wild dogs to torture and eat his servants who made a mistake. And one of his servants gave a wrong opinion which was wrong. And the king didn't like it at all. So he ordered that the servant be thrown to the dogs. So the servant told the king, "My dear king, I have served you for 10 years. Can you give me 10 days?" So the king said, "Okay, I'll give you 10 days." So in those 10 days, the servant, he started serving the dogs. He was baiting the dogs. He was feeding the dogs. He was giving all kinds of comforts to the dogs. And then when the 10 days was over, the king now ordered that the servant be thrown to the dogs for his punishment to be eaten. And when he was thrown in, the dogs were simply licking the feet of the servant. When the king saw this, he was baffled. Sabi niya, "What happened to my dogs?" The servant told him, "I have served the dog for 10 days, and they never forget my service. I have served you for 10 years, and you forgot all at my first mistake." My dear devotees, isn't it the story of life many times? That so many good things have been done, but the focus is on what? On the bad. And therefore, level 2, Srila Prabhupada said, is a person who sees both good and bad, but consciously chooses to neglect the good and focus on the bad. Level 3, Srila Prabhupada said, a person who sees both good and bad, but gives equal weightage to both. Now among devotees, we struggle with that. So we see the dark side of the devotee, and then our conscience tells us, "No, this is not good, this is not right. I should only see the good." And as we're struggling to see the good, the Kali Yuga mind, Kali Yuga people like to see the bad. Right? Let's be honest. Between the two, good issues and bad issues, which one you enjoy talking about? Which one?
Bad. Very bad.
Yeah. Right? We're very attentive hearing to bad issues. We're more excited, right? So Kali Yuga people, so we like to see the bad in others. So level 3, so like that, there's a big conflict between to try to give equal weightage to both good and bad. Level 4, Srila Prabhupada said, a person who sees both good and bad, but consciously chooses to neglect the bad and focus on the good. This is the nature of the Lord. If you go to South India, there's a deity of Lord Ranganath. Lord Ranganath is lying in a chestnut. He's a big deity and his eyes are closed. If we go to Orissa, we have the deity of Lord Jagannath, huge, and his eyes are not just open, but wide open. You see, when a devotee comes to see Lord Ranganath closed his eyes. I don't want to see the bad side of this devotee. When a devotee goes to see Lord Jagannath opened his eyes. I want to see even the slightest good that this devotee has done for me. Amazing. Haribol. If you like it, say Haribol.
Haribo.
So Lord Jagannath represents closed eyes, consciously choosing not to see the bad side. And Lord Jagannath represents open eyes, consciously choosing the good side of the devotees. So therefore, level 4 is a person who sees both good and bad, but consciously chooses to neglect the bad and focus on the good. Level 5, Srila Prabhupada said, is a person who does not see bad at all. He just can see the bad. And when he sees even the slightest good, he magnifies it. So these are the 5 levels of people. And the last one, only Krishna can do it. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada said, all of us must come to level 4, where we consciously chooses to neglect the bad and focus on the good. Therefore, the first step in the word fault stands for focusing on the good of others. So, step number 2, ba't ganito ito, no? Ito na lang. Which is the A in the word fault stands for awareness. Being aware of what are the effects of fault finding. And one of the effects of meditating on the fault of others is that we give shelter to those faults. If we keep dwelling on the fault of others, my dear devotees, those faults will come within our personality as well. You see, association is not simply physical association. Of course, when there is physical association, that association will affect us. So similarly, association, even on the mental platform, is very dangerous. If we associate with the fault of others in our mind, those faults will eventually manifest within us. And therefore, A in the word fault stands for awareness of the effect of finding fault in others. Now the third step that we can apply in our life to help us overcome this fault-finding mentality, which is the U in the word fault, stands for uplifting others. You see, there's really no point dwelling with the fault of others. Dwelling with the fault of others brings no good, neither to ourselves, nor to the person whom we try to find the fault in. And most often, when we perceive some fault, it's not even a reality. It's just our own perception. You see, our state of consciousness has a great impact how we see things around us. Borajan Prabhu gives a very nice example on this. Sabi ni Borajan, it's just like if you wear a green glass, all around you will appear green. If you wear a red glass, everywhere you look, it will look red. But if you wear a clear glass, all around you, will look clear, right? So our state of consciousness has a great impact on how we see or judge things. In Ayurveda, Mataji is here. I hope I'm right. Correct me if I'm wrong. In Ayurveda, it is said that one's health is determined by the state of one's digestion. If your digestion is good, your health is good. So in the same way, our spiritual life is determined by the state of our consciousness. If our consciousness is good, our spiritual life is good. There's one couple, every day they would eat breakfast together, and the husband, he would complain to his wife about their neighbor's window. He says, "Look at our neighbor's window sheets, so dirty, so dusty. Why can't we clean it?" So every single day, this husband keeps saying this to his wife. And then one day, so he remarks, "Wow, finally, look at our neighbor's window sheets, so clean, spotless." And then the wife told him, "My dear husband, I cleaned our windows today. Every day you keep complaining about our neighbor's window sheets. There was no problem about their window sheets. Our windows are dirty." My dear devotees, you see, Krishna has given us these two windows, right? But the problem is these two windows are so dirty, so dusty. When we see through a dirty window, we see dirt in others. But when we see through a clean window, we'll see things for what they are. But the problem is, most of us sadhakas, practicing devotees, we don't have a clean window yet. And therefore, we experience a lot of problems even amongst us. So therefore, you in the world fault. So you in the world fault stands for uplifting others. In America, there's a saying, we rise by uplifting others. See, a leader's true height is measured by the stature of those they elevate. So there's really no point in dwelling on the fault of others. And even if the fault is a reality, we have to learn to help that person come out of it and uplift that person. Okay, let's proceed. Step number 4, which is the L in the word fault, stands for leave things to Krishna sometimes. We're supposed to leave things to Krishna all the time. But what I'm saying is that sometimes things in life are beyond our control, right? And the classic example of this is Lord Balaram. So Lord Balaram, he was in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And then Krishna, he was telling Bhima, hit that guy Duryodhana below the waist. And then Balaram said, "Krishna, that's against the proper protocol of a Kshatriya behavior." And then Krishna said, "It's okay, just keep quiet. I know what I'm doing." So Lord Balaram is such an amazing personality. He realized that there's only one controller in the entire world, and that is Krishna. So what he did, he left the battlefield, and then he travels to all places of pilgrimage. So Lord Balaram, he goes to all the places of pilgrimage except Jagannath Puri. Because in Jagannath Puri, he's being worshipped as Baladev. So Lord Balaram had left the battlefield to prove to the world that Krishna is the supreme controller. And he didn't go to Jagannath Puri to show to the world that Krishna is the supreme controller. Amen. So understanding that Krishna is the supreme controller, sometimes we have to leave a lot of things that are beyond our control, to deal with. We have to leave it to Krishna. I have so many brothers and sisters. I'm trying to make them a devotees. It's been Bhagavad Gita, almost all the verses. It doesn't work. So sometimes we have to leave things. Because sometimes, no matter how many times we try to help this person, this devotees, that devotees, sometimes things just won't change. So, wala pa rin pagbabago. So, just wait, just let Krishna do the magic. Okay, the last one. The last one is so the last one, which is T in the word fault, stands for tolerate. You see, when we come together in a community, the moment we open our eyes, we're going to see fault. Not just a single fault, but an ocean of fault. What to do? We live with people who are human beings. And in every human, there will be faults. We have shortcomings. We have differences. So we must learn to tolerate. And beyond tolerance, we have to appreciate the good in others. One devotee came to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, I can't tolerate this devotee anymore. Srila Prabhupada said, you have to tolerate him just as I tolerated you. See? So like this, with a mutual understanding, we can overlook the small things in the personality of the devotees. But more than just tolerating, we have to also see the good and appreciate the good in others. Because it's not that all of us are completely bad. Yeah. Even the worst devotee. See, according to the Shastra, even the worst devotee is 100 times better than the best karmi. So these are the 5 ways that we can apply in our daily lives to help us overcome this fault-finding mentality. I think I'll stop here, and I would love to also hear from you. Maybe let's do it like this. I would like to invite some of you to share something. Just share one thing that struck you the most, that you think you can apply in your life after you leave that door. Just share anything that you learned in the class that you think you can take away with you after you leave that door. Would you like to share something? Comments or yes, Prabhu?
I just want to share about tolerate.
Tolerate.
So tolerate. If you don't tolerate, it will degrade us, and it will stress. It will give us stress. So maybe just tolerate.
That's a very good point. Sabi niya, if you don't tolerate, it will degrade ourselves. See, when you uplift others, we also uplift the good side of our personality. If we degrade others, we degrade we also degrade ourselves. So thank you, Prabhu. That's a very good point. Yeah. Anyone else would like to share comments? Yes, Prabhu.
Actually, what you have said, it's really inspiring.
Thank you.
It's a very wonderful.
Nothing belongs to me.
Yeah, you repeated what Srila Prabhupada said. So that is the perfect thing. Because whatever Prabhupada said, same what we heard. So one thing I heard from Radhanath Maharaj, that he said, to avoid this all this, like attending devotee, too many things. So it will never stop.
Very true.
So to stop that, Radhanath Maharaj said, humility. The devotee should have a good humility, humble, and submissive to your guru and
Yeah.
to the devotee or whatever. And the last thing he said, should improve your chanting. Once you have this good quality, I don't think so this thing will come to in our life. Often the Vaishnava and the Guru. So these are very.
That's a very nice point. Yeah.
And the last point you said about, sometimes we get tired with some devotee, sometimes we don't like, sometimes we are afraid, oh, if he will come, what will happen to my devotion service, I might, Sometimes we think of ourselves, I cannot think ourselves. Then what the devotee does, he goes to Krishna and he prays, please Krishna, remove this devotee out from the country. He should be out, so that I can live peaceful life. So nobody will bother me, nobody will hit me, nobody will tell me, do this and do that and this and that. I want to be selfish mentality. So that should be.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you. I just want to say one thing, because in my 2 months staying here in the Philippines, I heard a lot of negative issues. I just want to share this one thing. My wife once told me, anyone who hurts you, you should see them as angels. Because Krishna has given you an opportunity to practice the divine qualities. How can you practice forgiveness if nobody hurts you? How can you practice humanity if nobody steps upon you? So it's a very nice, when King Chitraketu was cursed by Mother Parvati, he didn't retaliate. Srila Prabhupada said that King Chitraketu, he was powerful enough to retaliate, but he didn't retaliate. But rather, he accepted the curse as a blessing. You see, Prabhu just mentioned about chanting. If we have good sadhana, we will respond to any even if the worst situation will come to us, we will respond to it positively. We will respond to it with humility, with understanding that Krishna has given me this for me to grow, to learn, to develop whatever I need to develop, whatever I need to work on ourselves. So we have to see things in a positive, but it can only be, it can only be done if we have good sadhana, good chanting. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much for your wonderful,
thank you.
inspirational
Because you were there right in front of me.
And Prabhu, to tell you, to be frank with you, I've not seen you before.
Yeah.
When you came here, it was the first time I met you. In your aura, whatever you are speaking today, you have already practicalized it. And even though I was very tired, I was feeling, oh, let me sleep. I said, I want to listen to you. And that's why I came, because
Thank you.
I saw your behavior, how you were relating, and always happy, encouraging everyone. So that inspired me a lot. And when you were speaking today, I remember in the kitchen, when we were joking and we were talking about porcupine,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
You remember?
Share it to everyone. Please pay attention to this.
No, I will allow you to share it, but I'm just to tell you are practical. You are already practicing what you are speaking, which is very inspiring, and you already met my heart. That is why when I was sitting at the back, you asked me to sit down here. I have to come here and sit down because I want to listen to you. I came here to listen to you, and I really appreciate and thank you very much for showing by example what you are preaching, which is very inspiring. We want more and more wonderful. Like you just said, you have been here for 2 months, You have listened to so many things, but you are not dwelling on that.
No,
You are
no
just
way, I'm not.
positive and thinking way forward, which is very wonderful. Show the kind of personality you have. So I really appreciate that also. Thank you very much for sharing this wonderful
Thank you
message with
very
us.
much. That's a very
And we'll keep it
positive
in our heart. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ano ba? Kirtan na ba? Or anyone still want to share this, Mataji?
When focusing, like really stuck in my heart is focusing on the good of others. Because as you mentioned that, like we are human beings and this is Kali Yoga. Everyone is not perfect. But like in my personal experience, when you try to like, oh, this devotee is like this is like that, then you will see everything only bad. But then if you try to like see like, but he also tried to do this, but she also tried to do this, and you'll never know that maybe she's going through something, that's why she's behaving like this. And then you will become so like calm like within yourself, even though you can't really have that intimate friendship with that devotee, but your mind is like praying for that devotee, trying to be a well-wisher and not trying to like poison your mind and thoughts with the conditioning that you see. Because like what Keshav Swami Maharaj said, there is like a mango that is ripe and there's a mango that is not ripened. So maybe that devotee is not ripened yet, so
Yes.
who we are to judge. So that really like struck me, and by like you're my god brother, and like by seeing those qualities in you, it's also inspiring to like devotees like us that are starting to like do bhakti and all. It's so like inspiring. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Anyone else? No one else? Brother, you're smiling. Yes.
Thank you for dropping. Just have one question. Since we are discussing about fault, what can you say about advanced devotees who always see fault of those new devotees?
Who always see faults.
Always see actions of new devotees like always pointing out the things that they're doing wrong, but maybe not yet aligned to all the Vaishnava etiquettes, but still the new devotees doing everything to be aligned with those etiquettes, but not all, but some advanced devotees really address or often pointing out those faults.
You want to speak on that?
Prabhu, after you.
When all of us, we all have our conditionings. First of all, we have to understand that our advancement in Krishna consciousness is our responsibility. Don't let others' character, personality, affect your advancement. A temple, that we always heard that a temple is like a hospital. So when we come to ISKCON, we are still carrying with us our character, our conditioning. So we cannot always expect that simply because they're already long enough in ISKCON, that they already, their character will become so refined. No, it's not like that, Mataji. That's why we as devotees, we always just, we should learn from them. When I see devotees behaving in such a manner, I will reflect on myself and I will tell myself, I don't want to be this devotees when I get old. So you have to always see the positive. When you see a devotee misbehaving, see it in a positive way. What can I learn from this devotee? Instead of criticizing and allowing him to affect your advancement. Because again, your advancement is not his responsibility, it's your responsibility. So that's what I would say.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for your wonderful reply. I will just add a little to it. Because just like the Mataji said, as a new person, they are not strong enough to be able to absorb this energy. So to be able to see the way you are seeing, because you are very advanced. That is why that senior devotee should be more loving and caring. Because why? If his attitude and behavior discourage and distract those new person to go away, Krishna will never forget that person also. So the senior devotees also, they should be very compassionate, very loving, so that their behavior will not allow the new person to, because the new person is not strong enough. So why should your behavior and attitude take them away from Krishna? So we have to be more loving and more compassionate, because those who are senior above us, they were more compassionate, more tolerant than us. That is why we are staying till now. That is what I would like to add.
That's why, Mataji, if we really have good sadhana, Mataji, if we have good sadhana, we will see things differently. And we will respond things in a different manner. It's really our strength in Krishna consciousness comes by how attentive we are in our chanting and how seriously we do our sadhana. If we are serious in our sadhana, we will see and respond things differently in a very Krishna conscious way. But so I would really like to, I would beg to all of you, let's work together. Let's help improve our sadhana together, our chanting together. In that way, we can create a very harmonious and peaceful atmosphere in our community and grow together. That would be nice, right?
Yeah.
So that whoever comes in, they will feel that vibrant, happy, loving, caring atmosphere. Krishna's pastime in Vrindavan is all about love. Krishna's pastime in Vrindavan is all about care. Srila Prabhupada said that his temples are like Goloka Vrindavan. His temples are like heaven. Heavens are meant to give love. Heavens are meant to give care. Sabi ni Prabhupada, that any temple or any community which is functioning based on the principle of Vrindavan only look on how we can share that loving care. That should be our goal as part of the community, ISKCON community, how we can share that loving care. A lot of devotees leave already, we've seen so many devotees left ISKCON, maybe because they don't feel loved, maybe they don't feel cared. Ramal Krishna Maharaj in one of his class, sabi niya, one of the best ways by which we can keep devotees in ISKCON is by giving them TLC, tender, loving care. Hare Krishna. So we should make it as our goal, especially now that we are moving to a new temple. It's a new beginning. It's a very beautiful. I've been there a few days ago. It's so wonderful. I want to die there.
Haribo! Haribo!
I think ito na siguro. It's already so late. So thank you so much for listening.
Haribo!
For sharing your precious time with us. Haribo.
Thank you.
Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki, Kishu Radha Madhava Ki, Kishu Panchatatma Ki. Lord Premanand.
Haribo! His Grace Haridas das December. Okay.
So Hare Krishna, thank you so much Haridas Thakur Prabhu for such an inspiring class. And of course, with request, Prabhu, we'll have a short Tulsi Puja kasi it's been 3 weeks na hindi tayo nag-Tulsi Puja.